We present our AuthAR system for authoring mixed media assembly tutorials. Augmented reality can provide effective assembly guidance compared to 2D instructions due to the ability to view instructions situated in the environment and the ability for the user to interact hands-free. Prior work has shown the need for multiple tutorial representations of the task to suit the needs of each user. These include images, videos from different perspectives, and projected AR models and animations. With our work on AuthAR, we built an authoring tool that allows for creation of these mixed media tutorials that offered multiple representations of the tutorial content. In this presentation, we'll discuss the design of AuthAR, its implementation and usage, and then discuss feedback and future directions. First, considering AuthAR's design, we list 4 important design guidelines for our in-situ mixed media tutorial authoring system. First, we wanted to ensure that the interface is not visually intrusive and that it does not require the user to use their hands or an input device to operate. We therefore steered away from an interface that would require hand gestures or a handheld device and instead utilized gaze and voice input for interaction, leaving the user's hands free for assembly. The best style of assembly tutorial will differ for different tutorial users. It is therefore important to allow for generation of multiple media representations of the tutorial within the authoring process. AuthAR supports creation of video, imagery, interactive guidance, and text such that the end user can adjust the tutorial presentation to their own preferences. Automatic content creation allows for the tutorial author's efforts in assembling to be used in creating the tutorial, reducing the time required to make the tutorial. On the other hand, manual creation allows for greater expressivity when generating tutorial content. AuthAR supports both automatic and manual content creation, depending on the task at hand. Finally, AuthAR focuses on real-time authoring, allowing the tutorial author to assemble the piece and generate the tutorial in situ, tweaking and refining steps while the actions are fresh in mind. I'll now move on to talk about AuthAR's implementation and usage. We demonstrate AuthAR's ability to help users build tutorials with these different tutorial representations on a metal IKEA laptop stand. The Microsoft HoloLens is used for projective AR and first-person recording, and an Android tablet is used for third-person recording. OptiTrack cameras stream real-time position and rotation data to a message-passing server, which then feeds that data to the HoloLens. Though authors can add tutorial content however they see fit, we guide users through a streamlined authoring workflow using a heads-up display. The heads-up display passively reminds authors which stage they are in within the process and a voice command to advance to the next step. When the author says start recording, the system begins recording first-person video through the HoloLens and third-person video through the tablet simultaneously. Changes in position and rotation of materials are also tracked, and saying finish recording segments both videos. The author says review step to enter a review mode and adds a point of interest by focusing on a location on the materials and saying add point. Now a blank canvas appears over the point and the user says add picture, and the user can snap a picture using the HoloLens built-in camera. To add text, the user says add text and dictation recording begins. The recorded text becomes the caption associated with that image. Using a visually tracked screwdriver, the system can also record where the user has added a screw. However, the author needs to then associate a virtual screw with a registered hole. Here we see a step in which the author has added 4 screws in step recording and needs to associate a screw with each of them in step review. The author says add screw to pull up a menu of possible screws. Holding the physical screw up to the virtual one allows the user to determine which screw was added, and saying this one confirms that screw. Now here we see a step where the user has added screws without a tracked screwdriver. In this case, the user says add screw, pulling up that same menu and uses the gaze-based cursor to place the screw on the material. Now I'll talk about some initial user feedback and discuss possible future directions for this work. I'll summarize 3 themes that we found. First, considering the pros and cons of gaze input. Use of gaze input was fairly intuitive, particularly when using the embodied perspective for camera recording. However, it may have been imprecise when trying to focus on small areas. We used basic dictation recognition for text entry, which worked fairly well, but there were some issues with AuthAR's automatic prompting for text, as users weren't necessarily ready to provide titles or captions when prompted. Finally, one suggested addition was for a means of editing the tutorial as a whole, through an interface that would allow authors to review and edit any previous steps. Considering some areas for future directions in tutorial authoring, one particularly interesting opportunity is how to combine AuthAR with a desktop interface. AuthAR allows for concurrent creation of tutorials in situ, but suffers from a lack of precision in certain interactions. We'd be interested to see how AuthAR can be extended with a desktop interface for tasks such as cropping images and videos, and correcting typos with a standard mouse and keyboard interface. We used OptiTrack for its ability to accurately locate the headset, screwdriver, and trackable materials. However, this would not be easily extensible for longer-term deployment. This could be a scenario where attaching black and white markers to the materials would make sense. In this scenario, tutorial users could assemble furniture with an AR tutorial with markers on the pieces, and then take the markers off once they're finished. Finally, we'd be interested to extend AuthAR to other pieces and tools. Using AuthAR for different furniture is fairly straightforward, but extension to different tools would require custom markers for the tools and consideration of how the headset would recognize their usage. With our work on AuthAR, we present a system that allows tutorial authors to create tutorials with different media representations while assembling the furniture. With the ability to create tutorials that can adapt to the needs and preferences of different tutorial users, AR tutorial systems can intelligently incorporate these different media, thus improving the overall quality and robustness of AR tutorials.